pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence. Okay, we'll go into, I guess we can't do roll call until we do swear in our new council. After I say your name, I, Jeff.
I, Jester,
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
solemnly swear I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter of the City of Wauseon,
and the Charter of the City of Wauseon.
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
and impartially discharge the duties of office
discharge the duties of office
of a council member of the City of Wauseon,
as a council member of the City of Wauseon,
State of Ohio,
State of Ohio,
during my continued in said office.
during my continue in said office.
Welcome back.
Thank you. You think you got rid of me and this, and you're on back.
Yeah, stand up and shake his hand.
You have to go through.
No, he's-
All right, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Give me your autograph while you're cruising by there, Jeff.
Right.
We do vote on the grounds report. Thank you.
You can do it.
Kind of put me on the spot.
That's right.
Okay, now move into roll call.
Counselor Coast? Here. Counselor Matthews?
Here.
Counselor Huner?
Present.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Here.
Counselor Sturts?
Here.
Counselor Fry?
Here.
All members are present. We have a quorum.
Motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Coast and second by Counselor Matthews. Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Huner?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Abstain.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
5 yeas, 1 abstain, motion carries.
Names of individuals wishing to address council. I see Mr. Burkholder's here representing Sarah's Garden and New Horizons Academy Playground proposal.
I brought Matt Rickman with me, and I'd like him to do the majority of speaking, and I'll jump in whenever you have any questions. So,
Okay.
Okay?
Kevin couldn't be with us today. We sent him to Akron to work a charity golf event, so he sends his best. We appreciate your time and having us back again to talk about this. Just kind of wanted to recap what this project is, give you a little more definition as we've been working through it with the various playground companies, as how we're trying to phase this in to be as economical as possible. But again, overall, what we're trying to create here is Northwest Ohio's first truly inclusive handicap accessible playground. Okay, there's a lot of playgrounds that they'll call handicap accessible, but they're not really inclusive when you think about how they work with kids with disabilities, kids in wheelchairs, kids that can't walk. Okay, so the purpose of this playground is to be an area of play for children of all abilities. Okay, in terms of the school, which is why the need is there. We're about to start our third year of operation. When we started 2 years ago, back in 2012, 2013, we had 2 students first semester. By second semester, that had grown to 6 students. And we cut it off there and said, we don't want any more, we're going to get ready for the next year. When we started school last year, we had 24 students enrolled, and we then started a waiting list. By second semester, with our hyperbaric center being complete, we had room to put additional children, and so we had 40 students last semester. Right now, we have 65 students enrolled from about 17 different school districts across Northwest Ohio, and we haven't advertised. That's because parents are finding out through word of mouth, through their friends, for what this is doing for children with disabilities, whether that be autism, whether that be cerebral palsy, spina bifida, traumatic brain injury, Down syndrome. We've got the whole gamut there, and it's a really special environment. And that's not at all an indictment on our public school systems that we have in Northwest Ohio, because we have fantastic school systems and fantastic teachers. But the reality is these kids who have these disabilities, they need a completely different environment. They wouldn't be struggling in the public school if it weren't so. And so that's why they're finding success here. Pretty interesting, actually, over the last year, we've had families move here to Wauseon for the sole purpose of their children attending school at New Horizons. We had families move here from Alabama, Mississippi, and Virginia in terms of out of state, and we just had families relocate from Oak Harbor and Bryan so that their kids were in district. We just completed our summer camp where families travel from across the country to receive our services, and following that we got notification that families from Oregon, Washington, Louisiana, and another family from Alabama are now considering moving here. So it's actually bringing more families into Northwest Ohio, which is a really, really neat, humbling thing, because in many cases these families are splitting up in order for the kids to come here. The moms are coming here with the kids, the dads are staying home with the rest of the family because they have jobs, and the moms are coming here so that the kids can be in school here. My personal opinion is it boosts the local economy. This past month you had 30-some families from all over the country who are here in this town living, staying in hotels, staying in apartments, staying in campgrounds. They're going out and eating all the time, coming back and bragging about all the different restaurants they're going to. They're shopping at the grocery stores, they're going to Walmart. They're participating in the economy, okay? In terms of Sarah's Garden and New Horizons, on the New Horizons side alone, from a job creation point of view, our school had 4 employees in 2012. It had 16 employees last year, and right now we have 25 employees hired for this year, for the school year. So it's increasing jobs, an intervention specialist for these kids. The need for the playground, why? If you drive by during a lunch hour, it's kind of fun to watch. These kids ride around on tricycles, the big old Schwinn tricycle bikes. Our parking lot is like a motor speedway, and they have a blast taking turns doing it, but we need them in a little bit safer environment. We need them in a playground that's fenced in where they're contained. That, you know, you'd think that they'd be frustrated that they don't have a playground right now, but they're really resilient kids, and they make best with what they have. But we just want to create a better, safer environment for them to play, okay? One of the things I do want to note, we are trying to keep the cost down by making this a community build. What that means is we're going to be having volunteers, whether they be from church organizations. We've had numerous companies say we'll send crews of people out, and that's a huge difference because a community build on these pods that we have range from $600 to $1,200 for the installation, as opposed to, you know, $4,000 to $8,000 to $10,000 if they were to come in and do all the building themselves. So we're trying to keep the cost down by making it truly a community project. And then we've got other organizations that we are working with to try and help secure funding. I think Kevin's mentioned those to you before. We're talking with the Fulton County Commissioners, Archbold and Wauseon Rotary Clubs, Rotary Foundation, Archbold, Napoleon, and Wauseon Lions Clubs, Lions International, and most recently Ronald McDonald Charities. So we are seeking many other organizations to try and help fund this project.
Questions?
So Matt, so far, how much do you have secured?
We have
For
secured
sure.
over $70,000 that we've raised from our fundraising efforts and private donations. That's what we have in the bank right now towards the project.
And then in your talks with these other groups, how much potential is out there?
I don't know.
Okay.
They haven't shown numbers yet. We're basically talking to them, asking if they have interest in funding. The only one that I have a number that they said would go up to is Lions Club International has said depending on how much we raise, they can match up to $75,000, but it can be as low as $7,500 too. So there's been no commitment from anybody other than the commissioners have pledged 10.
Is that in your 78,000?
No, I'm sorry, the commissioners is.
Yeah,
The commissioners
okay.
is part of that, yes. But all the rest of those, there's been no commitment towards money, just that they want to help us work through it. And so like with the Rotary Foundation, we just submitted a grant to them before you go through the first step where you submit to see if you can then go to the next level and then start talking money.
And your ultimate goal, figure the goal.
Well, in terms of, so what we tried to do is we have 11 different pods. That was another thing we tried to do to try and make this as economical possible and phase it out. If you think about a playground, and if it's one massive playground with the flooring, you know what I'm saying, the spongy flooring that you see on there, they were close to $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 depending on all the equipment that we put on it. And it was like, we didn't want to wait to try and raise that much money. We wanted to be able to put something in if we raised $100,000, okay? And so we came up with this idea of pods. And what that is we thought, let's have a triangle and have that shaped orange. And on that triangle, then we set certain equipment. And then when we raise more money, we could connect that to a purple circle. Sure. And that has different equipment. So that it's educational because then there's shapes and colors and stuff, but we're adding the equipment as we raise it. So that was one thing we're trying to do to make it as economical as possible, is do it in phased pods. Our phase one, we put together the 4 top pods that we had priority, the ones we thought we have to absolutely have these. And that was a big bay of swing sets, a hill slide, which I can explain why that's so important, some wobble spheres for the autistic kids, and then wheelchair platform swings, those being the 4 main pods that we wanted to start with in terms of phase one, and that phase one comes up to just over $180,000. And that's, to be honest with you, that's been one of the most frustrating things with me, is I look at the cost of the equipment that goes in here. You know, it costs more to put the flooring in than it does to actually put the equipment down. And that's the part that just blows my mind.
So in this packet that we've been provided, the quotes that are attached, that's what you're fundraising towards right now?
Correct.
Okay, and that's the 170, the
181, 177 is what I have for my 4.
These pods that you're putting in, the first phase one pod, are you doing it like each color, each shape or whatever? Is it like for certain therapeutic centers, or are you just trying to get a little bit of each?
What we're trying to do is we're trying to get in terms of phase one, we're trying to get a good mix of equipment that all the different ability levels would have the ability to participate, okay? And what I mean by that is, in terms of swings, obviously our high-functioning autistic kids, they love swings. I mean, in our sensory room, they're in the swings all the time because that's something they love. So that's something that's obviously crucial. But at the same time, and so as part of those swings, we're going to have regular swings like, you know, any one of us would sit on with the rubber bottom and then the chains. We're also going to have some of the molded seats that more look like a roller coaster ride, you know, where you'd have the bar that comes down. And so some of our younger kids that we can pick up and put in those seats maybe that are not ambulatory, some of our CP kids, they can participate and you know, feel the feeling of swinging. Some of our bigger kids that can't be picked up, and we've got some pretty large boys, that's why we need the swings that are the wheelchair swings, where they can roll the wheelchair right up on it, and then that whole unit swings, okay? And then we've got some free-form play stuff for the autistic kids, and then the slides. The reason that's so important to us is my nephew Jackson, his grandson, they went to an indoor playground in Indiana. And whereas it'd be hard to carry Jackson up a slide, or any child who can't walk, to carry them up a slide like you see at the playgrounds and then send them down by themselves. This had these shaped mounds, different heights, and we've got one that's 3 foot and one that's 5 foot, but these shaped mounds, and the slide was built into the mound. And Jackson could do that. He could climb up that mound and slide down that slide all by himself. And so that's why those 4 pods we feel are at least the most crucial, because they provide at least the initial building blocks for letting all the kids participate in some sort of play. And then we've got other pods for future phases that provide even more functionality.
You know, I was the principal at Wauseon Elementary School. We got the new playground, and I fought to get what I thought was handicap accessible until I took a couple of kids one day up the ramps. I thought we always needed ramping, and I got to the top of the ramps, and guess what happened? Kids can't go down unless I went down with them or Aid went down with them. That's not handicap accessible. Kids ran back and forth on them, but my kids were disabled. They couldn't walk. or were in wheelchairs, got to the top, and what'd you do? You turn around and went back down. That doesn't create independence, and in our philosophy out there, we're trying to create independence for kids so they can do those things. That's why I traveled to this other facility and saw this, and I thought, wow, this is it. So that's why we've changed the view where we're going with that.
You know, we don't have ramps. You won't find ramps and stuff in this. I take that back. There's one pod that has it's a ship that you wheel a bunch of wheelchairs up onto it, and then they can wobble around. That is the only piece of equipment that has a ramp. Nothing else in terms of any of the playground equipment has ramp access, because I picture one ramp going up and you picture a kid trying to crawl up it, whereas other kids are trying to run up and down it and they're getting run over. And so we wanted it to be more open and not as restrictive for only one point of entry.
The families that are coming from across Northwest Ohio and these other states, they're looking for something that's unique and different, okay? And that's what they're finding, and that's why this playground, I want to make it unique and different also, so that it draws and it's something special for these kids. That's one reason they're here. They found something completely that they've never seen before, and it's working, so we hope to add to it, so we're after.
And it'll draw families from around the community, even ones that don't go to school here. Families that have kids with disabilities, they will come here because there's nothing like this in Ohio.
Those kids that aren't enrolled in the school would be able to make use of the playground?
That's been the neat thing about New Horizons Academy and Sarah's Garden, the relationships that have been built. I'm going to give you an example. I mean, these kids came from all over the country, but I had one of my students who could not come to camp this summer because he's trying out and working on it. He's going to play football for Wauseon. He's allowed to do that. But his parents opened up their home to these other families every Wednesday night for them to come and build relationships, have a meal, and they had a pool. I have a picture that was sent to me, two of these kids, one from Virginia, okay, and another one from Bryan. They never had friendship. Some mother came to me at the end of camp and said, I want to show you my picture. It's so special. And it showed her son, who's nonverbal, smart as can be, but nonverbal, in that pool with this student. It was one of my students, didn't come to camp. He's playing football for Wauseon. And they made friendships. They created that bonding together. So what I encourage is that when this playground gets in, we hope others from the area come, because that's what it's about. All these kids meshing and having friendships. So anyway, pretty neat what happened. So.
Any other questions? Great.
It's an amazing project.
Good job. I think we're working with David, so.
Yeah, this is a project we're requesting funding through the RLF fund, Wauseon's RLF fund. So it meets the national objectives and low to moderate income. They have a limited clientele where they meet that requirement. So and the accessibility, if it's public, accessible to the public, that's a criteria that needs to be met also. So I think they fit on all that. So.
I think the next thing we'll do then is we'll schedule a finance committee meeting because we wanted to hear first what they had to say, how much has been raised so far, and that type of thing. So we'll have a finance committee meeting scheduled soon and go from there.
If you need us back for anything, just let us know.
Or you're welcome to come to that meeting if you'd like. So we'll let you know when it's scheduled.
Okay.
David, but you think it's hitting all the criteria for our...
Yeah,
Okay.
the questions that I've asked and just making sure that it meets a national objective and the low to moderate income component word. Limited clientele, just focusing on a group. There was some talk about study, we don't need to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee reports, safety code.
Yes, Safety and Code met on July 21st. We're going to have the city designate Wood County to do commercial building permits. This is something that by doing this and by adopting this legislation, we would have Wood County come in. They have specialists that would come in and do commercial only building inspections. And the reasoning for a lot of this is for the ability to get the permits done a lot quicker, and that we know that they are following all the state mandates and codes, but it would just be a different company. So what we would like to do is move forward on this and try to adopt legislation so that we can have this company come in. Let's see, it's Delta and Archbold have recently signed agreements, Fulton County. So we're asking, Safety and Code's asking for Wauseon to get on board with this also.
Motion to accept the recommendation?
So moved.
Motion moved by Counselor Coast and second by Counselor Matthews. Is there any discussion?
So these are state employees that we're contracting with that just happen to be housed out of Wood County? Or are they Wood County employees? I don't know.
From the way I understood it,
They're Wood County employees.
yeah.
Wood County employees.
But they were also certified through the state.
Right.
So they hold all the licensing that would state would to come in and do the same inspection,
That
right?
is correct.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Hewner?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Park Board.
We had a special park board meeting on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Sincere thanks to Building and Grounds to giving us a heads up about their recommendation that they were bringing forth tonight involving the pool. So the park board quickly gathered together for some pool discussion, and we met for about a half an hour, and the park board members revisited the pool location issue, tried to weigh out the pros and cons of pool location, and at the end of the meeting, the park board members voted and again voted on the pool location issue, and their position is remaining the same, that they feel that the pool is best suited to be at Biddle Park rather than the suggestion out of Building and Grounds involving Rear Park. So tonight they did vote and they did move forward their thoughts of Biddle Park, but just wanted to bring that to the council's attention. That's park board's feelings. Any questions?
We don't need to vote on that though, because it's already in action.
So that's the general feeling.
Thanks, Shane. Building and Grounds.
Building and Grounds, not a couple days before Park Board, Don Matthews and myself, members of that board, met along with Heather, Jeff, Steers, Dennis Richardson, Dave Murray, Aaron Tiplady, Tony Schutte, Bonnie, and Craig Greaser. Some discussion was also Steve Truex from Astro Pool Company came to present a pool that had been recommended by a pool committee. Tony Schutte and Greasers thought it was a good plan, and some discussion was brought about saying that there are members of the community that would like to donate towards this, but only if it was at Rear Park. And so Don had recommended that we vote to put it back at Rear Park. I seconded it, and the motion carried. We also decided that we needed to have a park board meeting and see where they stood on the matter. We heard his recommendation. So there was some pros and cons at Rear Park. The Steve Truex thought the fact that there's a current bathhouse there and there's utilities current there, he thought it was a better location than Biddle Park himself. So I think at this time we had talked that maybe we would table the decision on moving changing from Biddle Park to Rear Park in a vote tonight. So I don't think we need to take any more action on that.
All right.
until we study it further or do some kind of a survey or something of the nature.
And I think two of the big things that we need to point out is in the park board report, Dave Murray brought some good points up as far as there were a lot of zeros on that budget for the pool, but it's still work that needs to be done. So fencing wasn't put into that quote. The quote looks really nice, but there's a lot of work and a lot of other purchases that will need to be made, and it could be up to $250,000 additionally.
Was this the quote, a new quote that he had since given, since he came back and looked at Rear Park again, which was asked to, just some kind of a vague quote?
Right.
I mean, we actually didn't give him everything we were looking for, we just said, give
Right.
us something that we can go by. If I remember right, some of the pool committee met with him, Heather and I met with him down at Rear Park, and then they went over to Biddle. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, well, he didn't include this and he did, well, in all actuality, I don't think he really
No, I
was
don't
given
think he
that
was,
chance
no, it's
to-
not intentional, but I think we need to be aware of the full
Right.
bottom dollar that this is gonna cost.
Which I
And
think
if
is
we
a
can
good
get some
reason.
donated, I don't know, some of the stuff might be able to be donated, whether it's fencing or time or labor, I'm not sure.
Or
but I
put
think-
into, like they were talking about levy. I just think this needs more discussion, since we have two committees with different venues of where they feel the pool should be.
I think it needs a lot of discussion, Kathy. I mean, it's
I do too.
it's a major expense, as well as the future down the road for our rec association too. And just reading over this, I mean, they made reference to an asphalt pool, two different places, and they're coming back and talking about a concrete pool. So I own, or the decking on it and all that. It's a great idea. I think it needs a lot more work
I agree.
and study,
I agree.
so.
But what we're dealing with right now is location.
Right.
We're not dealing with the nuts and bolts of the actual pool right now, we're dealing with location. And
I don't think we can get a quote until we pick a location, really,
Well-
because each site is different.
If we're tabling the issue tonight, it's because we're tabling it to learn something more. Are we polling the public? What are we waiting for?
I think we should pull the public on this. I think we've discussed many different means of how we can discuss or get communication out to our public. We talked about that with the trash tags, how are we going to get to the public and get their input. I really feel that some kind of a survey, one-time survey from the public to let us know. We were going to do this when this pool committee first started. We were going to go into the school systems, and we were going to ask them to hand out a flyer and ask the community that way with the kids and parents. That never got done. Since then, the pool committee has changed numerous, committee members and who was in charge and who wasn't. And we have a mail system that we can give out a billing, we could give out information, and we could let them vote, one-time vote, and however the citizens vote, that's where we take it. And then we could get an actual go-ahead on the quotes. And that way, when they come back and say, well, this is what the citizens wanted. So I think if that, anything, maybe we could move forward with some sort of a survey for our community to make that decision, Biddle, Reared, one-time vote, and go with it.
I think the survey is fine, except for I think you got to do it in a very systematic, or hire somebody to do it. You can't just meet people on the street.
No, I think we need to
a-
do it through our billing service. Anybody who gets billed should be able to have that vote. And go on the webpage. We have a webpage.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, there's different ways we can do it,
Sure.
but I want everybody to be able to have access to be able to do it.
Sure.
And doing it on a computer is not always going to be the best way.
Right.
So I'm comfortable with tabling it until we formulate a method of surveying the public to get a public opinion on the issue, and then revisit the recommendation from Building and Grounds then.
And we don't sit on this. Let's move
No,
forward
yeah,
with it.
definitely.
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So we have to do a table minutes.
Yeah, motion.
I'd make a motion that we table the recommendation coming out of Building and Grounds. Is that fair?
Second.
Motion made by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Fry. Is there any more discussion?
Is that all right, Don?
Yeah, it's fine.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Hüner?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Moving on to department head reports. David?
Well, I've been working with folks like Sarah's Garden with potential projects that our RLF funds could be tapped to help those projects to fruition. Also, Homecoming Park, they've been talking with Pete Carr. I've had a couple meetings with him about potential RLF funds for helping with some trees that could be planted in Homecoming Park. I know that's been referred on to, I believe, Park Board. Possibly that might be discussed in the future. That would need probably an income survey so we can figure out if it's going to meet that low to moderate income. So we'll have to look into that in the future. As you all know, we applied for the downtown revitalization grant a month or so back and got a phone call today. We got approved. $300,000 was the grant ceiling, and we got that approved.
Good job.
Yes, we
Good
did.
job.
Good job,
So
David.
it's not, it was a phone call. It's nice to have a relationship with the state like that, but they called up before they even send out anything formally, and they were excited about it, so it was nice to hear. So
Yes.
Good job.
Good job, Dave.
10 people applied, and they funded five different downtown revitalization projects, so.
Excellent.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
I
awesome.
appreciate it. So we're gonna be doing some stuff. I'm gonna be busy, so I'm pretty excited. That'll be a neat thing.
That's great.
Very good.
Other than that,
All right.
That's good news.
Chief Sluter?
Yeah, just got the totals for our runs last month. July, we had 128 calls, which is about 30 calls above our normal operating load, so it was a very busy month that ended Thursday. Since Thursday, we've had 25 more calls. It was a very busy weekend this weekend, and very overwhelmed the fire department on a summer holiday, or not only a holiday, but a summer weekend, but we made it through it. We did also have a truck down Saturday evening and all day Sunday hauling water for the Lucas County water issue they had through the Ohio Fire Chiefs Response Plan, which we're part of. And so you're aware of it, there's a meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. and some administrative officials from Delta have pushed some discussion towards fire district possibilities in Fulton County. And that meeting's at 7 p.m. this Thursday if you're interested in hearing from what they've got to say
Where's
about
that
that.
at?
That's going to be at the county admin building at 7 p.m. on Thursday. That's all I have from the fire department.
Thank you.
How many cities around the area were taking water over besides Wauseon Fire Station?
In Fulton County, I know that us and Archbold and Lyons participated in that because we didn't want to drain the entire county of all the water
Right.
tankers.
Right.
And then I believe like the 5 counties surrounding Lucas all had different trucks from different fire departments in that.
Okay. Chief Corbett? Welcome back.
Good to be back. It was a rather busy weekend with homecoming. We were able to successfully negotiate another homecoming. Had very few incidences. A couple of people that tried to walk off with the golf cart, but other than that, everything was fairly quiet downtown. Our office helped man the railroad gates with the fire department being out. Also, we have the Citizens Police Academy coming up. That will start in September. Applications will be ready shortly. If anybody's interested, to contact our office and we'll get them mailed out to you as soon as we print it off. And that's about it.
All right. Thank you. Jamie, you're next.
I have the July income tax figures for you.
Getting all choked up, isn't it?
Well, I'm suffering a cold as well.
Oh.
That we're just down 1.85%, so we're back on track of where we were last year. And we're also within our budget. That's all I have tonight.
Get well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie, have you seen a purchase order request for some recycle containers? you know, I don't know if you'd see that, I don't know how that would even start, if that would start at Dennis, or,
I have not seen the request.
Okay,
I've
okay.
only seen I've seen an invoice.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, what,
I mean, there is one in place,
okay.
yeah.
So it's just, somebody just has to place the order then, or, okay. All right.
Stuck at Cypress.
Good.
Yeah.
In place of Tom, we got Kevin Whitlock tonight here, so give us a good word, Kevin.
Well, I don't really have much for you. Tom is on vacation for the next couple of weeks. He tells me that he will be back for the next council meeting, so you only get second string once. The starting lineup will be back next week. But I'm in the office. If you guys have anything, need anything, give me a call. I'll help you out.
I like that, short and sweet. Okay, moving on to first reading legislation. Ordinance 2014-11, amending Part 13 Building Code of the Codified Ordinance of the City of Wauseon.
First reading?
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Chamberlain and second by Counselor Huner. Is there any discussion? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Huner?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance 2014-11 passes on first reading.
Ordinance 2014-12, authorizing a request to the Ohio Board of Building Standards to certify the City of Wauseon for enforcement of the non-residential building codes with the condition that Wood County Building Inspection Department exercise enforcement authority, specifications and make inspections, and authorizing an agreement for such enforcement between the City of Wauseon and Wood County.
First reading on 2014-12.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Huner and second by Counselor Coast. Is there any discussion? Counselor Huner?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance 2014-12 passes on first reading.
Moving on to second reading legislation. Ordinance 2014-7, amending section 147.08 of the codified ordinances of the City of Wauseon, define part-time employee hours and full-time employee hours.
So moved.
Second. Others usually quick draw and draw down there.
I was trying to let somebody else have a
Oh,
chance.
you're so kind.
Motion
Thank you,
moved
Shane.
by Counselor Sturts and second by Counselor Chamberlain. Is there any discussion? Counselor Sturts? Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Fry? Counselor Huner?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, ordinance 2014-7 passes on second reading.
No third reading legislation. On to new business. Motion to appropriate $5,000 for dugout pads at Biddle Park.
So moved.
Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Huner and second by Counselor Sturts. Is there any discussion?
Hey, Jamie, are we going to have some kind of form that we can give to people in the future when they donate so that they can specify directly what they want rather than
I can
after
create
the
something like that.
Okay, that'd be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Huner?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Motion to approve the bills as presented.
So moved.
And catch it.
Yeah.
Catch it.
I think it's two guys down at the end.
Oh, the two.
No,
it
it's
wasn't.
Donnie. It's
Yeah.
Donnie.
Donnie?
And-
Give him one or the other.
Okay.
Good Lord.
Motion moved by Counselor Matthews and second by Counselor Fry. Counselor Matthews?
Yes.
Counselor Fry?
Yes.
Counselor Sturts?
Yes.
Counselor Chamberlain?
Yes.
Counselor Huner?
Yes.
Counselor Coast?
Yes.
6 yeas, 0 nays, motion carries.
Here, can I just have 1 second? I just wanted to, this is very impromptu, but I just wanted to comment about Counselor Matthews. And we all know that you're battling, an illness right now, and we just all really appreciate you coming in and attending the meetings, even though when you're not feeling the best. So we just appreciate your time, and if you ever don't feel up to it, trust me, missing a meeting, we would understand, so.
I understand
Okay.
too,
All
but,
right.
We all know what's coming down the road, and seems to be coming sooner than I expected, so if I keep coming in and have to act like this tonight, and I didn't expect that really. Jeff picked me up, I felt kind of good. You know me, I'm always talking and making jokes, and I sat down in this chair and it didn't work for me tonight. And if I gotta keep doing that, it's no fair to council to, just have me say yes or no. I need the conversation, so I'm gonna keep a real close eye on myself in the next few weeks. I have hospice coming in tomorrow, and they're gonna work with me, and hopefully they'll can find some things that will boost me up and make me feel better. That's what I'm hoping for. So.
Well, it's been a real pleasure working with you, Donnie. So.
Right.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing better than I like to talk being on council.
Yeah.
I loved it.
You do a great job.
So if you guys can hang in there with me just a little longer.
We're very patient.
Yeah.
I want to, you heard me say this before, I don't want to walk out this council door. I like it too much.
And if you ever need a ride and Jeff doesn't answer his phone, call one of us other
Right.
folks. Okay? All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Shane.
Motion adjourned?
So moved. Second.
Motion moved by Counselor Sturts and second by Counselor Huner for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.